First, the president-elect has picked billionaire Scott Bessent to be Treasury Secretary. Now, Bessent is one of Trump's top donors. He is also a former hedge fund manager at a firm started by Democratic megadonor George Soros. But he has since earned Trump world credibility by converting into a MAGA true believer and embracing what the Washington Post calls populist economics. Just a few hours ago, Trump also chose his head of OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, a position of significant influence as far as the president's agenda. Trump's full embrace of vote is further confirmation that Trump's proclaimed disinterest in Project 2025 was anything but. In that position, Trump hopes to install the architect of Project 2025, Russell Vought, the man who served the same role during Trump's first term in office. And then about an hour and a half ago, Trump made a surprise pick following some heavy lobbying from the Teamsters Union, choosing Republican Congresswoman from Oregon, Lori Chavez-DeRemer. Chavez-DeRemer was one of few Republicans to co-sponsor the PRO Act, which protects and strengthens workers' rights to organize. Is Faz Shakir, senior advisor to Senator Bernie Sanders and founder of the nonprofit More Perfect Union. Let's talk about the Treasury Secretary, just because there was a lot of back and forth about who he was going to pick, whether this was someone Trump could rely on to enact his tariff plan, which has come with a lot of eyebrow raising on the part of a lot of economists.
Well, this has been an interesting fight because Elon Musk opposed Scott Bessent. He said he was business as usual and that business as usual would bankrupt the government. It became a major tussle between the Elon Musk wing of the Trump world versus Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, fresh out of jail, advocated strong. This was his major campaign. He had Bessent come on his show. He said, this is the guy. This is the MAGA movement person. He's going to enact our tariffs. And it became kind of so much of a tussle that Trump then looked to a third person, the head of Apollo, Mark Rowan, who was probably the highest profile person, who came to Mar-a-Lago, talked to him. And he went with Bessent. So the MAGA world, Steve Bannon wins this one. And you see in the flurry of all these other things, you can see Trump kind of doling out favors to various factions of his coalition tonight. But Steve Bannon got this one.
So a W on the board for Steve Bannon. Mastermind of Project 2025 being installed at OMB. Now, Vought was there in the first term, but it is quite obvious, especially from the writings in Project 2025 that Russ Vought oversaw, that he has some very clear, very extreme ideas about what to do next. What's your reaction to this one?
Well, with that one, Alex, for those who are frequent watchers of the Alex Wagner Show, will remember that 2 nights ago, you and I were talking about the cuts to Medicaid and to food stamps. And that was in the first Trump administration. It happened. Who executed that? When we saw all of those great protests in Capitol Hill over Medicaid cuts, who was the architect? Mr. Russell Vought. He's back. And he's going to be here for the same thing. If you looked at the last budget that Donald Trump produced and sent out in 2020, it had massive cuts. I think it was over $1.5 trillion to Medicaid. And so you can assume, looking both at Project 2025, which of course Trump said, oh, no, that's not going to have anything to do with me. Of course it is. And he's now named not only, Vought, but Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, and Brendan Carr, a number of others who were authors of Project 25 to his administration. But you can assume he's going right at all the things you and I were talking about 2 nights ago, Medicaid, food stamps, the far-right agenda to attack working people.
The sort of probably most, I'm going to say, unusual pick here, and I'm real eager to hear your thoughts on this, is Lori Chavez-DeRemer for Labor Secretary. She had the endorsement of the Teamsters Union. She was at the RNC, she had a speaking slot at the RNC this summer, but she endorsed the PRO Act. She's been a friend to Labor. Again, the Teamsters endorsement. I mean, I know you're familiar with this individual. What do you make of Trump's pick for her as Labor Secretary?
Well, it is a pro-labor pick, and this is a victory for Sean O'Brien, of the head of the Teamsters, who advocated for, spoke at the RNC, as you mentioned, and went in big for this. And Sean O'Brien got opposed by much of the conservative movement, Competitive Enterprise Institute, Grover Norquist Group, all came out against Sean O'Brien's and DeRemer. And Trump went with them, and I think we all know why. He said, hey, I'm going to do something for my friend Sean O'Brien, which is great, in a W. And I hope that we are able to push pro-labor. I mean, the world, the country needs it. However, the hostility that surrounds her is real. You got Elon Musk. You got Russell Vought, we were just talking about. You've got Wall Street hedge fund guy Scott Bessent. These are not people who are ready to go flying with the pro-labor agenda. So she's got her work cut out for her, but it is at least one voice at a table where she is outgunned by very Wall Street friendly people.
Yeah, I mean, it's already, first of all, it's Friday night and he's announced like 320% of his cabinet in 5 minutes. Right? That's chaotic. The actual picks themselves, some of whom we're going to get to a few more in just a second, but the fact that you have a pro-labor candidate at the Department of Labor and Elon Musk advising the president just is all the insight you need to know into how unified this group of people is going to be and the chaos that is bound to ensue with so many people at odds over such key issues.
Trump has prioritized the Justice Department more than any other.
Life Elon goes into these companies and he kicks trash cans and yells at everybody. That's, by the way, his style. And he doesn't
Literally
run them.
doing that.
Yes, he doesn't run everything so well. I was talking to Neuralink people, and they're like, we can't wait till he leaves.
That's
he's
the
so
brain
disruptive.
implant
Yes.
that's going to go.
But he's great at being an entrepreneur and creating things. And one of the things he does well is disrupt and break. So he crashed, 90 rockets before he got the right one. NASA can't do that. Government can't do that. Government can't crash. Because people, it's not the same thing as running a company by fiat, which he does, and he does very well in a very aggressive way, and that's fine, but it doesn't work when it comes to government.
And quickly before we go, how do you think the Trump-Musk relationship goes? Those are also two people who love a camera.
I don't know. I think I think one thing that's going for him, he's very rich. He's the richest man in the world, and so Trump likes that. So he can hold on for a lot longer. In the end, I think it'll be like a Steve Bannon-like thing. He'll have too much attention, but you never know. The money speaks to Donald Trump very much, and so possibly longer, but probably.
Okay, I think behind this hate that she has for him is a few things. Number one, it's very clear that Elon Musk and what he's done with X, it has consistently outperformed the legacy media. When you're talking about eyeballs, attention, engagement, I mean, he's pretty much put the nail in the coffin. He's killed the legacy media. If we're just comparing apples to apples, right?
I think Musk is becoming like first buddy. You know, he's hanging around. Foreign leaders call. Trump puts him on the phone with him. He brings his family to Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't want a job, right? And I think in a funny way, Donald Trump is sort of in awe of Elon Musk because he's so rich.
Are these people stupid? Do they think me and you are stupid? Because I know we're not. And I don't believe anything that they say. I don't know what Trump is thinking. You don't know what Trump is thinking.
And the thing is, you can't say that enough. And I want you to say more about that because you're talking about deploying the U.S. military. Remember, Mark Esper, who was Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense for a while, told him, no, you cannot shoot American citizens. You can't have the military shoot American citizens. He's going to replace people in the Department of Defense with people who will say you can't.
I haven't seen that from Trump. He had the chance to prosecute his political opponents, particularly Hillary Clinton. And guess what? He could have done it because there was a legitimate case against her. So Joy Reid wasn't the only person freaking out about Trump's mass deportation plans. Tonight, CNN just totally melted down over it and started pushing baseless claims, claiming that, if Trump moves forward with this mass deportation, that prices are going to skyrocket.
Inflation will go up. One of the reasons inflation has been lower in the last few years is that we've had a lot more immigration.
Did it go up when Obama deported 5 million people? I think concerns about this are overblown. We've got 1.6 million people with deportation orders right now and another violent population. I mean, I don't think that alone is going to drive up the cost of groceries in the short term. And people want it to happen.
You don't think mass deportations will affect the labor force or agriculture industry?
Or building houses to bring down
Even if
costs
you're
of
pro it, you have to consider that. I mean,
I think if you exit people that have already have deportation orders from the court, and you exit people who are violent criminals, that is in no way, shape, or form going to hurt the economy, but it just might make people feel a little safer.
People are rightfully alarmed. They have a reason to be alarmed. And if you would vote for that, people may not feel so confident that they're safe with you. This is not crazy. This is legitimate feelings of fear of you and a feeling that you might not be someone they could trust. If this thing goes way south, autocracies go south real fast and things get ugly and people get asked to do things and turn people in and point people out and turn on them. And if you're voting affirmatively, gleefully for this, people may not feel so confident in you anymore. That's real, and you kind of have to live with it. So if you think that you can vote for what people see as their destruction and then demand that they still are cool with you and kiki with you and have Thanksgiving with you, I think you're kind of missing the point.
Elon Musk bought X and turned it into the social media arm of the MAGA movement. And we all sat there right in the middle of it during the campaign, possibly not realizing that we're sitting there like fat chickens just getting attacked all day and just being part of this MAGA messaging. However, the election's over. Everybody's getting smarter and better. I'm not sure that the right idea is to leave Twitter and just go to Blue Sky, a friendlier place, because then we remain in our echo chambers. I don't think that you should necessarily stay in Twitter every day and battle it out and let yourself doom scroll of all the hate coming at you. But I want to see it. I want to read what's happening there, right? And so I think at least staying in those spaces is important because I want to hear the other things.
Eddie, yeah, but people like Joy Reid and these other progressives, that's not the way that they think. They can't handle that, okay? It's just goes counter to what they can emotionally handle. We've seen the outcry. We've seen the unhinged post. But here is The View also bringing up this point as well.
What I do worry about with this, like the Blue Sky versus X, because a lot of people I follow on X, Twitter, have now left to go to Blue Sky. I worry we're all going into our own echo chamber. So we had this, this election that was tense. Donald Trump won, and the right is going to stay on X, and then the left is all going to be on Blue Sky. How do we try to talk to each other?
Unfortunately, I will have to say, the other side, I think, has driven people away because it's not just discourse. It's nasty name calling and coming after your family.
This next story isn't really going to shock you because Nancy Mace went on television today and had to give a brutal reality check to this reporter who does not want to accept biology. Check this out.
I just want to add that the Congresswoman-elect does identify as a woman. I will be...
She's not a woman. It's a man. She was born a man. She's a man. She's biologically a male. That is science. You guys on the left and the mainstream media want to say, follow the science. Well, let's follow the science, okay? He is a man. He can wear a dress. He can call himself, his pronouns can be she or her, but he doesn't belong in a women's restroom, period.
Are you suggesting that the Representative-elect McBride poses some kind of danger to you and other women?
Yeah,
in Congress?
Absolutely, 100%. This is an assault on women. A man being a biological man, a man with a penis, male genitalia, being in a women's locker room is an assault on women. And so the question is, do I have rights as a woman or not? And I'm not going to allow the media or Congress to strip away women's rights for 0.5% of people out there that more than likely he's got a mental illness, and this is why he's doing this. He should not be forcing his private parts into women's private spaces. I'm absolutely a no hard pass on this. I'm going to fight it every step of the way.
Are you diagnosing right now an incoming member of Congress with a mental illness? I'm not sure how you would.
I'm absolutely diagnosing anyone who cross-dresses with a mental illness. And in fact, by the way, I'm getting death threats from men dressed up as women who want to kill me because I don't want penises in women's bathrooms.
Bathroom in their office, so she's got a bathroom she can use in her office, and I'm sure she can use the bathroom in the bathroom of every Democrat and every person who's not a bigot in the United States Congress. Bathrooms here in this building, it just says all genders. Yeah. Why can't they just do that everywhere?
Yeah, there are all gender bathrooms in many of the Capitol office buildings, not necessarily in the Capitol itself, but we're going to work through that.
Renovate.
We don't need to change restrooms for people. What needs to happen is they need to make a decision. Either if you're going to identify as a woman, you have to understand what comes with that, which is you still need to use the men's restroom. And if you don't want to use the men's restroom, then find yourself that single-use family restroom. Listen to Al Sharpton and how Byron Donalds had to set the record straight.
Should ask Donald Trump. You talked about black men would be with you. Where's a black man being nominated by you for your cabinet? Has anyone noticed there's no black that has been nominated on his cabinet? That raised.
Congressman, you have been a very vocal and effective surrogate for Trump and for his campaign and, frankly, the Republican Party. What is your response to this criticism?
I think it's criticism where people are upset that they still lost this election. And so if you were going to ask Reverend Al or anybody else in the Democrat Party, they're still licking their wounds about the fact that this did not work out the way that they thought it was going to. That being said, Donald Trump's cabinet is about people who are going to implement his agenda. And he's not done, by the way. You have Susie Wiles, the first woman ever to serve as chief of staff. You have Marco Rubio, a Cuban American who's going to serve as Secretary of State, representing America across the globe when it comes to foreign policy. You have Tulsi Gabbard going to be at DNI. So many others that are coming, and there's still slots to be filled. So I think everybody needs to pump the brakes and just wait and see what happens.
What is this guy smoking? Listen to this.
Look, Musk may have a big role here. It's not entirely clear what Trump is going to do with this Department of Government Efficiency. If we can save a couple $100 billion, I'd be delighted. We can spend it on the defense budget, which desperately needs an increase.
Very controversial. Let's put it up here. Hey, Elon Musk, put me in charge of the Pentagon. I'll slash $400 billion easy. That'll get you 20% to your goal of $2 trillion right out of the gate. I went to Wharton 3 years before you. I own a media company, so I know how to run a business. If you really want to cut, put me in coach. Elon Musk actually responded and said, specific suggestions are welcome. What is the problem?
Yeah, I can't imagine what the problem is. What I'm telling the left is take the win. It's not that complicated. So they say, well, look, they're not really going to do it. Well, then if they don't do it, then we'll call them out on it. Again, where's the problem? Oh, they were actually going to cut Medicare and Medicaid. That's probably true, and it's very likely, and we'll fight them on that. But why would we fight them on a thing we agree on? So we've been wanting to cut the Pentagon for decades on the left, and there's a reason for that, too. It's because that is where the biggest fraud and abuse are.
Surface kiss in the night, spin your web real time. Let's kiss in the night, spin your web real tight, then on slow.